Also joining us this morning, Jonathan Allen, NBC News senior national politics reporter. And Jonathan, there is so much politics around this, especially around the courtroom.
I mean, we're seeing Speaker Mike Johnson, Vivek Ramaswamy, the surrogates for Donald Trump coming out to support him. What's fascinating to me is that through all of this, they're making all kinds of arguments against this trial, against the judge, against the fact that it's happening at all, saying that Donald Trump's being pulled off the trial. Not one of them has offered any sort of rebuttal against Michael Cohen. Some of them have said that he is a liar, which I think the defense will do again and again in this trial. But what they have not said is that anything specific that he has said in this trial is a lie. And I think that that is a really fascinating point, that none of them feel like they have the credibility to do this. It is a political theater, political circus around this trial, unlike anything we've ever seen. The Speaker of the House of the United States coming to New York to basically talk about a hush money trial. This conservative guy from Louisiana who has risen on the strength of his belief in morality, and there is nothing inside that courtroom that sounds, particularly moral. I'm not making, I'm not casting aspersion on anybody, but given where Mike Johnson comes from and what his politics are, it's amazing that he's standing out there in defense of Donald Trump.
There's a lot of hypocrisy to so much of what we're seeing in that regard. But I'm also interested to get your take, Jonathan, on who's been missing from inside that courtroom. And that is a lot of Trump's family members, right? We've seen Eric Trump show up on a number of days, including today, but no Melania Trump.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you could understand why Melania Trump wouldn't want to be in the courtroom for Stormy Daniels telling this story of an affair that she had with Donald Trump. I can understand why Donald Trump wouldn't want his wife there. I think perhaps the most sympathetic Donald Trump has probably seemed to that jury at any time during this trial is when Stormy Daniels is going through the particulars of that. I think it's uncomfortable for everybody, right? When she's talking about how he kept, he would call her every couple of weeks and check in on her, and you're listening to that, and there's a humanizing effect to that. I think there are a lot of things that she said that are damaging to him. I think they needed her as a witness, but I am not sure that having Melania Trump would have in that courtroom would have made it more comfortable for anybody. It's certainly not more comfortable for either.
Does the jury notice when people are not there? Families not behind their guy?
Totally agree about the discomfort and why you wouldn't want to be there, or well, Trump may not want you there. But if you're a defense attorney, you would love to see the wife sitting there, loving up on her husband, concerned about him, projecting that we are and remain a connected unit through all this, because the signal it sends to the jury is what they should understand about who Donald Trump is, what this marriage is. Because remember, one of the points that the defense is going to try to be escalating for the jury is this was all about Melania. This was about Melania finding out. This wasn't about the election. This was about Melania. That's the story they want the jury to read, at least one, to hang it. And without her there helping to project that story,
because the defense is trying to paint him as a family man. That's part of their argument, right? Sorry.
Can I devil's advocate here for a minute then?
If you want to advocate for the devil.
So I'm just saying that, like, if their whole point is that Donald Trump wanted to keep this from Melania Trump, then sticking her in the courtroom to listen to all of this doesn't that undercut that potentially?
No, and the reason is because she's already listening to it, and everybody knows it. It's a news story. How is she being protected from it? I'm not saying it's easy or comfortable, but look, any time you see high-profile criminal trials where there's an issue that really goes to, is this defendant someone who is heinous and will do heinous things, or is this defendant someone who can be humanized to a jury, relatable? And that's what family members do. So I totally hear you, and I would feel this way if I was Melania. I wouldn't want to be in that courtroom. But guess why? Guess why I wouldn't want to be in that courtroom? Because I'd be like, I'm going to slap this man in the back of the head as I'm sitting behind that jury box, making faces.
Maybe
like,
take the magazine.
I can't believe you made me. Right?
Take the magazine.
Exactly. So you don't put someone in that position who can't show up in that way. But I'm just saying it would be helpful to the defense if that's the picture the jury was seeing of who Donald Trump, the person, is, Donald Trump, the husband, is. Melania could do that for him, and she's not.
Depending on how she reacted, it's very important.